Welcome to Dreamer to Achieve talk show. Today's focus is on mental health in men. And it is my pleasure to introduce our guest of honor, who is going to share and empower to another level during this show. I have Dr. Ropafadzo Nyamukapa, a specialist psychiatrist, head of division mental health unit, Gweru Provincial Hospital in Midlands, Zimbabwe. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be on the program.
Thank you. Most welcome. Most welcome. We take note with the concern what is happening in Zimbabwe in particular, perhaps globally, that there's so much, perhaps we are excited beyond the concern. There's so much noise that people make, or what that the media makes around the welfare of women.
Yes.
You look at last time we had Mamba Kweza with us. Mm-hmm. We had WICO, women in the communities. Yes. We had the breast cancer awareness issues. Mm. But there's very little that our social media, our press is talking about men.
Yes.
And there must be some reason somewhere. And secondly, it is statistically proven that so many men are dying, and some dying earlier because of some of these mental health issues with them. And the statistics indicate that about 22% of men, which amounts to 48% are men, and 52% are women in Zimbabwe in particular. And every year, about 2,000 die as a result of these mental related issues. You may now want to comment as guided with some following questions that I have to lead our discussion. The first one says, what are the common mental health issues that men face? And it is one of the interesting areas for me when the ladies in your position, you are in your position, in your specialist area, to share some of the observation and the experiences that you have had.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you very much. One thing that I want to say first is common conditions occur commonly. But what happens is, with men, the conditions that happen, they tend not to show them, or they tend to not come out in the open. Mm. But the common conditions that affect men in our society include depression. Unlike with women, where when they are depressed, you find that they become so sad, or they present with hopelessness, they present with worthlessness, or sometimes they may attempt to kill themselves. With men, the difference is when a man is depressed, they usually present with irritability. They present with anger outbursts. Sometimes they present with excessive use of substances, like they intoxicate themselves with alcohol, just to try and cover up for whatever that they are feeling. You find that apart from depression, we also have conditions such as anxiety, because men tend to keep to themselves. They don't open up the way we women open up. They are anxious.
Okay.
And because of their anxiety, they tend to have different types of obsessions, And with men, apart from that, you find that they may have what we call PTSD because of the nature of the jobs that quite a number of our men in our society in Zimbabwe are doing. You find we have some who are working in risky areas and all. They tend to have post-traumatic stress disorders. They don't have anyone to share with what they've experienced in their workplaces, or sharing them because they've experienced it as other men, sharing those conditions. It may seem as if it's a sign of weakness, so they keep to themselves, right? Apart from that, I also mentioned substance use disorders. I think in our community, those are mainly the most common conditions that we are seeing in our men. In terms of depression, with women, they end up with women. We say they attempt suicide, right?
Okay.
So you may say, why are you saying that? Women attempt more suicide cases, but men, when they think to say, I'm off, they use these nasty ways. They can use guns, they can use all sorts of methods, but they make sure they do it. That's why you find that attempts are higher in women, but completed suicide is actually high in men. Yes.
Amen. No, thanks so much for that. Now we are coming from a coaching services that we offer as how it may equally complement and be of service to the same men.
Yes.
Just to clarify an area there, we have the counseling, we have the mentoring, we have the coaching services. So that at least as we discuss, there are some points that we would want to marry and match with what you are sharing. With counseling, you emotionally stabilize somebody and moves and may not meet again, right? With mentoring, again, you complement each other, empower each other as you go, as you walk the journey. But with coaching, we are saying now, look, what's your current situation? If somebody is able to define it, then from there we are now saying, where are you now? How can we work together? How can we assist to define your problem? And where do you want to go and want to achieve that and work together to assist you to the end? That's why we have this theme to say, dreamer to achiever, kind of theme that we are running with today. But it depends now on, does that individual, do men, can they easily define where they are in when they get to those conditions, those state or mindset? Now that leads us to the second question, where it says, what are the barriers or main male characteristics that present them or us from seeking for help?
Okay. What are the main barriers?
Yes.
The main barriers, let me start by just saying this, just like how we are right now, you know.
Yes. Okay.
Men, usually they are not free to talk when it's a lady who's on the platform. They'll say a little and withhold the rest, right?
Okay.
But with men, usually it's a matter of socialization that prevents them from coming out in the open, so that they get help. Because our societal norms, they say, for me to be called a man, I have to have masculine features. Not features as in features, but I need that masculinity. I need to be strong. That's why you find that some, they have to be a little bit harsh. That's how I show that I'm masculine. So me exposing myself to the world to say I have a problem, I have a mental breakdown, it's a sign of weakness. So generally, due to societal norms, men don't want to be regarded as weak. That's why they'll not go to seek for help. Not only that, we find that stigma, because already of our societal norms. If I go and I see I have a challenge in 1, 2, 3 areas, I'm being beaten by my wife, or I'm being beaten by, if it's a boy at school, I've been bullied by a girl. You know how it is. We tend to say, but you're a man, how can that happen? Instead of helping, we tend to say quite a lot. So stigma, in some cases, it actually prevents this man from coming out in the open because they are afraid of being stigmatized. And in relation to that, we find a matter of confidentiality. Some people, how they take it is, if I come in the open, I'm a big so and so, I come out and tell you that I have this problem, are you going to be able to hold what I've told you in private? Are you able to keep what I've told you in confidence? So some of the bridges, they have to do with confidentiality in men. And you also find that there is limited access for men unlike women, where there are so many organizations that talks about men, if anything happens to you, come to us. There's limited access in terms of in terms of organizations that are there for men, in terms of places that men feel comfortable to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so those are some of the barriers that we see.
And do you think our services could chip in to assist in any way?
Definitely. You know, what I always say is we need to groom someone from a very young age.
Oh, yeah.
For them to be emotionally strong. It means even from the societal perspective,
Yep.
we need to change. We need to know that men do have challenges too. So if someone is taught from wherever, if our society knows that if I am a man and I have a challenge, I have somewhere to go, I can have someone whom I work with, then I think it may be a better situation, because we don't want to wait for someone to have a mental breakdown. We don't want to wait for someone to attempt suicide or to have completed suicide before we see that there is a problem. So if there is someone who can say, the way this person is behaving, the way they are drinking, how can we help them?
Oh, yeah.
Then it's better to nip something at the bud than to let it become a problem.
Now, in line with that, it shows that you are showing that there is need for us to have outreach programs, right?
Definitely.
With families,
Yes.
with the churches,
Yes.
with schools,
Yes.
at workplaces.
Yes.
Just conscientizing on these issues and our role that we could equally play to try and minimize or manage these barriers that men face. Now, thank you so much for that input.
Yes.
And how do the traditional gender norms and the social expectations impact men's mental health? In your opinion?
In my opinion, the traditional gender norms, they affect men in their mental health in that, as I said earlier, traditionally, for you to be seen as strong,
Yeah.
you don't have to come out in the open and say, and be seen crying. You know the saying that men don't cry.
Yeah.
If you're seen crying, you're taken as a weakling. If you're seen looking for ideas, it seems like you are not man enough. You have to be there. You have to have ideas. So society, then what we believe is society. We need to be maybe psycho-educated again to say, yes, men are strong muscularly, but they are also just like any other person, and we need to start again to say they too have emotions, they too have feelings, they go through the same things that any other person goes through, whether it be a man or a woman.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So we have some work to do.
Definitely you do.
We have some work to do.
Yes, because we need to have a strong mental health basis for our men in our society.
And how then do you think we can harmonize that, your role, our role, to see in the end improve the welfare of men?
Okay. What I can say is the role, mainly what we want is we need organizations, we need places where people can go to. If I am a man and I have a challenge,
Yeah.
I may not be free to go to a place where it's full of women. We need people who know how to talk to someone. We need someone who has been through a situation.
Yeah.
So men usually, they tend to be freer to open to other men. So we need people like the elderly like you to hold on to our young generation and say, let's work together.
Yep.
Unlike in the past where we had padares, and these young men would go, you'd talk to them. Now we don't have. So we need people who are there at least to help our youngsters, our middle-aged, even our elderly, to say if there is a challenge, let's talk together before we have a mental breakdown. Because by the time we have a mental breakdown, it's a problem for the whole society.
Yeah.
Because the mental breakdown of one man may actually cause mental breakdown of many other people.
The whole chain,
Yes.
the whole generation.
Yes.
Oh yes, oh yes.